And see here, the attitude that I like the most is the attitude of excellence. And in order to have an attitude of excellence, it demands some things of you. It demands discipline. Or that 17-year-old girl came back and brought her baby and put that baby in the corner, and in less than 2 years, she went from her freshman qualifications to graduating with honors and academic scholarship. She's now director of nursing at Georgetown. That's a determination. But it wasn't just my mom's determination that I'll take her on. It was that young lady's determination to say, you are not going to take my dreams from me. No, you didn't tell me that I couldn't do it. And she got an attitude of excellence, and she demanded of herself the discipline to do the work. She demanded of herself the diligence to stay at it. She demanded of herself the determination to work hard even when it felt like it wasn't worth it anymore. And you got a little more hope than you had yesterday, am I right? You got a little more courage to face the world than you had yesterday, am I right? You got a little more determination in your soul than you had yesterday, am I right? And you have this thing that comes when you demand of yourself the discipline and the diligence and the determination. You earn something that nobody can ever take away from you. Dignity. Dignity. You have earned that place of honor, that you are worthy of being recognized. You are worthy of being esteemed. Power. You got some authority you didn't have yesterday. Today, you are graduates. Today, you are different than anybody else. There are people out who are just starting out, like April at 22, fresh out of high school, hasn't decided on her career yet, but now she's got a good training under her belt. And there are people out here.
When we talk about a story that emotionally draws you in, I mean, if any of you can picture your child sitting in that car, or if you've ever had that panic thought, I think my keys are in that car. That's a terrifying moment. Watching that little girl just weep her eyes out, knowing her baby was literally minutes from death. And when I arrived on the scene, I had just seen her drive by the house. I didn't realize who she was because it was a new car. But when I saw that happening, I was thinking to myself, how much time do I have with 105 degrees outside? I mean, it's a good car, it's a new car, it's well insulated, air conditioner's been on, all that's great. But what if it's hotter? How long can it last? All those things are going through my head. Now, I could spend 20 minutes standing here telling you, I'm standing on the porch, and this girl drives by, and I see her go by, and I don't recognize the car, and you understand all the filler in front of the story, and it loses its power. But snap by snap by snap, the snapshot images of, I'm standing here on the porch, I'm just chilling, doing a little work around the house. And in a moment that seems like a calm, nothing day, a life is on the line. Those are the pictures that you want to paint in your head so you can move from scene to scene really, really quick. So who wants to be brave and go first?
I just had the privilege to train under J Loren. I have been speaking for so many years, and yet the one thing I've always needed to master is the comfort of sharing a powerful story in a short period of time and being comfortable with the humor of it. He is a brilliant teacher. I learned so much by spending 4 hours with him just now. I can't wait to see how much I improved just by the time that I got to be under his leadership. If you need to improve in communication, and don't we all every day, don't miss an opportunity to be taught by the master.
You guys having fun? Who's ready to do the cha-cha slide? That's coming up right after this. How many of you have friends that do this? What does that mean? What does that mean? Lose. Okay, let me tell you about these two old friends of mine. These guys are really, really old, crusty, dusty old dudes. When I say old, I mean like really old. They're like over 100 years old. You know anybody over 100 years old? Okay, these guys are really old. One of them, his name is Napoleon Hill. And here's what he says. You're going to become like the 5 people you hang out with. You have friends that are... Yeah, if you hang out with people like that, you might be... I'm not saying, I'm just... If you hang out with people like that. The other crusty, dusty old dude, though, here's what he says. If you give a man a fine reputation to live up to, he will. So if you tell your friends there, then you might become one. But if you tell your friends there... Anybody seen that one before? What does this C stand for? How about a champion? So if your 5 friends are champions, what does that make you? Champion. So if this guy's right and you hang out with 5 people who are, you might be but if you have 5 friends that are, can everybody do this? Show me your C. Big champions. On 3, everybody say champions. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Champions! All right, let's do the cha-cha slide.
I'm J Loren Norris with Tell It Like It Is, author of Live a More Excellent Life, creator of the 9 Lessons of Mastery to Live a More Excellent Life, which is a mentoring program for teens, and creator of the Insuperable Bootcamp. Lately, I've been getting a lot of grief from friends on this word, insuperable. Yes, to answer your questions, it is a real word. You can find it in the dictionary. No, I didn't make it up. And here's what it means. Something that is insuperable is something not easily overwhelmed, overcome, or passed by. Now, I don't know about you, but in my life I have had tragedy. The loss of my stepdad before I was 10 years old, job opportunities that passed me by. I've been overwhelmed and close to suicidal over some of the stupid decisions I've made in my own life and in the circumstances around me that I had no control over. How about you? Have you ever been overwhelmed? Have you ever been overcome? Have you ever been passed by? Then Insuperable Bootcamp is for you. Because insuperable is an attitude. It's also a choice. It's also a philosophy. And since Insuperable is a bootcamp, you can learn what it means to not be overwhelmed, overcome, or passed by. Go to thatguyspeaks.com, click on the workshop tab, and watch the video to learn more about the Insuperable Bootcamp. Anybody? Nobody? Now, there were a lot more people that raised their hand. Are you saying that you're not brave enough to come up here? Or are you asking the question now, what is my vision? Is it clear enough to live by? Because I think the latter is what's common. And here's what I mean when I say people have misused this word. I think there are people who say things like this. And I was in a classroom. Judy was in that classroom with me a while back. We were doing the workshop on vision. And as we got to this point, I asked one of the gentlemen in the classroom, what's your vision for your life? He said, oh, I'm a billionaire giving away money. I'm sorry, I guess I missed the rest of that. What does that look like? I mean, how does that compel you to do anything? I'm a billionaire giving away. Where did you get the billions? Did you win the lottery? And how did you achieve the billions? Did you sell something big? Or did you get all that from the pawn shop? Or did you get your billions? Because you don't have billions right now. If you're going to give that away, how are you going to give it away? Hey, do I see you sitting on the beach, your flip-flops on, and your Panama Jack shorts on? You got your beach bucket on this side, your beach bucket on this side. Every time people walk by, you're just chunking cash at them? I mean, is that what it looks like to be a billionaire giving away money? Or you're in your ivory tower and you've got clean water projects in Uganda and you've got hospitals being built around the world in your name because of the billions of dollars that you're giving away. What does it look like to be a billionaire giving away dollars? So here's something that I know is a fact. If you have a vision for your life but you can't see it, and I don't mean just put it in words that are flowery and picturesque. I mean, see it in your head, coming to fruition. When you walk by it one day, you'll walk right by it. Now, raise your hand if you've ever pulled up in front of your house, got out of the car and went, well, I don't even remember turning on my street. Raise your hand if you've done that. Raise your hand if you've ever pulled up in front of your house, walked up to the front door, tried to stick the key in and it wouldn't turn, and you looked up and went, that's not my house. You ever done that? No, what? This is a group of Christians. You've never had those late Friday nights that we have. I asked somebody that on one meeting, and they say, yeah, I've done that. I'm like, okay, we don't want to know the rest of that story. So, most of the time, though, you know where home is. You know what that looks like. You know what work looks like. You know what your hobbies look like. You pull up to the lake, you're going to put the boat in, you're ready to go. You know what the lake looks like and what the boat ramp looks like. You know what your destination is. If you went to your GPS and said, I'm going to start here and I'm going to go to, I don't care. Where do you think your GPS is going to send you? Nowhere. It has no idea. There is no route to get from here to I don't know. You follow me? The other thing that happens is from here to I don't know, there are a lot of stop signs along the way. A lot of little obstacles that are going to jump up in front of you. And every one of those obstacles is not going to be a small deterrent. Because when you have no clear vision for where you want to go, every obstacle is like, whoa! What if we could take those obstacles and bring them down to size? You know, I remember going to summer camp one year. At the time I had a pink, and yes, I do mean pink. I don't see anybody in here with pink that pink. The lid off of Connie's cup was the color of my Bronco. It was a 6-inch lifted Bronco with 33s on it, a 5.0 and glass packs. It was loud, it was big, and on the front window it said, "Fear this." I did not. I don't have a picture of that. My kids love that truck. But we're cruising to Pine Cove. How many of you have been to Pine Cove? You go those little East Texas back roads, and you get on that little back road that runs between Pine Cove and Silverleaf resorts out there, and that road's about this wide. And so my truck's kind of bouncing off of both sides of the road, and we come up to a place where there's a lot of cars lined up. And I can see around them, maybe from here to the street, that the reason they're lined up is that this live oak tree has fallen across the road, and there's not even a bar ditch on either side to go around it. So these cars are just stacking up. It's camp morning. I mean, it's the only way to get to camp. And there are cars just stacking up behind us. And I look up there, and there are two guys with their little Toyotas pulled off to the side, and they're digging chainsaws out of their trunks, and I'm thinking, this is going to be a while. Me being the kind of guy that I am, I reached in the back for a tow rope, and I grabbed the tree in front of my truck, and I drug it off to the side of the road, so at least we could go around it. Now, somebody still come back and cut it up, I'm sure, but I didn't allow that little obstacle in my life to stand between us and camp, where others would have looked at that and went, no camp this year, I'm turning around and going the other way. If you run into obstacles in your life, and the magnitude of the obstacle stops you from where you're at, then the question that I want to ask is your vision big enough?
Hey, Loren, thanks a lot for the workshop. You know, we've all been in situations where we just complain about circumstances, and it seems to be just things that are beyond our control. How encouraging it was to have you show us how our attitudes start a chain of events that sometimes can become self-fulfilling, either in a positive or a negative way. It's so much easy to follow information, and it's always good to listen to you. Your presentation skills are excellent. And Loren, just thank you again. This was truly awesome. Thanks, Loren.
Man, things are changing. They're changing so fast. You got to communicate with your teenagers today directly. You got to tell them exactly what you're thinking, but you got to be clear about it. Remember, what we used to call the communication gap between what our kids were thinking and what we were actually saying, it's not a communication gap anymore. I mean, with both parents working outside the home, working 40 hours, 50 hours, 60 hours a week, that's one thing. But add to that the fact that the kids are communicating via text and 2 and 3 letter communications. They don't have full sentences even. But when you add that to the fact that they spend most of their time gaming or hanging out with their buddies, now you don't have a communication gap. You've got a dry gulch. You've got to be direct. You've got to be honest. You've got to speak your mind. But let me tell you, you better be informed as well, because kids today have in their fingertips, right in the palm of their hand, more information in 10 seconds than you studied for your entire PhD. You can't bluff anymore. You got to be honest. You got to be real, and you better be right. So communicate with your kids. Communicate clearly. Communicate directly. Communicate frequently. But whatever you do, communicate. I'm J Loren Norris from Tell It Like It Is. Have a great day. Offense. A couple of weeks ago, I was standing outside a mall, a very popular mall in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, in fact, and I watched the little man and his wife waddle their way to the door. As they got to the door, he stepped a little bit ahead of her and grabbed the door and opened it for her so she could walk right inside without even slowing her gait. Before she could get in the door, though, these two young men, probably 10 and 12 years old, burst through the door, nearly knocking the woman to the ground, like a fullback coming through the line. It was amazing. They just barely missed her. They didn't say thank you. They didn't say excuse me. They didn't even show gratitude for the man holding the door for him. It was amazing. In fact, I was appalled. But what really, really ruffled my feathers was as I stood there watching this, their father followed them through the same door with exactly the same attitude and lack of gratitude. I really, really thought hard about punching the man right in the face. I wanted to lay him out flat on his back. But I thought better of it. I thought, what demonstration would I be if I did the same thing? So the answer is, what would I do to prevent the same kind of behavior? Well, I teach my boys to go ahead, to open the door. In fact, not just to open the door, but to hold the door. If there's a woman, a female of any age within 50 feet of that door, when they go through it, they're going to hold that door until she's inside, and then they'll close it. And ladies, if you're offended by that, if them being a gentleman is not good enough for you, or it's not right for you, then take offense. Please, no, seriously, take offense. Because if you can't be lady enough for them to be a gentleman, well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you. But we need to raise a generation of young men who are gentlemen. A generation of young men who show respect for their elders, for authority, for each other, and for their ladies. And until we take offense at the way they're behaving now and take the courage to teach them better, nothing's going to change. It's on us. I'm J Loren Norris with Tell It Like It Is. We teach leadership, vision, and communication skills, growing men from the boy up.
In the time since we made the commitment to be self-employed, to be entertainers and motivational speakers, as a family, we went 11 months with no heat or AC in our home here in Texas. After a year-long battle with our bank and $15,000 worth of legal fees, we eventually lost our home. We literally became homeless. We don't have a place to stay. Some friends offered us a trailer in the country. That's where we live. And you know what? I'm holding on to my dream. Because I know this for a fact. You get out there in your car in the parking lot and you just sit still, there's not a speed bump in the parking lot that's going to hunt you down. But the minute you put that car in motion, things are going to come against you in life. How many of you know that's true? You get your hands on a dream and you start following it, and things are going to try to stop you. But there was a day that I got a vision and I saw myself standing on stage in front of 5,000 people at the American Airlines Center. I didn't just say the words, I saw the picture. I felt the energy, I felt the excitement, I heard the people screaming and yelling. And that vision cemented in my heart a passion that said, I am going to become insuperable. I will not be run over. I will not be stopped. Take my house, I don't care. You can't take my family, and you can't take my dream. Those are the two things that I'll fight you to death for. Your time is coming very soon. I don't care if you're a sophomore this year or a senior this year. If you're a senior, your time is even shorter. But your time is coming very soon, that the day after graduation, you're going to stand on that top of that hill in your life looking out into the fog of life. And the obstacles are going to come if you're moving forward at all. And when they come, you're going to have to make a choice. Will I live my dream against all the odds? Or do you want fries with that? It's your choice. I can't give it to you and I can't take it away from you. But over the next 9 months in the Trojan Talk mentorship, you're going to have a chance to learn the things that changed my life. The lessons that I had to learn over the last 20 years to get a hold of the vision and the dream that I hold on to now. And I hope that not only will you build a vision that you'll put on the mirror in your room and stare at it every day and say, I am insuperable, and you're not stopping me from that. And I hope that you'll walk away with a character that will allow you not to worry about job security, but you'll have employment security the rest of your life, and you'll be working for yourself, doing what you love. Thank you.
Like that mother of four, who's an ambassador, who's educated, who's raising a family and working a full-time job, and now she's stepping back in there. She didn't start out, she started over. But there's nothing wrong with starting out, there's nothing wrong with starting over. Just get started! And now that you're started, keep at it. Ladies and gentlemen, you have done something absolutely incredible. And if you just look at this room right now, you represent about 30 to 35% of the people in the room. But let me tell you something, in this world, you represent a different percentage. You represent the 3%. You represent the 3% who believe in themselves. You represent the 3% who are not going to be told no. You represent the 3% who will not stand up for, oh no, you didn't. You're going to be a bunch of yes, I did, and a bunch of did so's, and a bunch of watch me. Because, ladies and gentlemen, success in this world is usually accomplished by those who are doing what everyone else said can't be done. You done it.
I just wanted to take a minute and let you know about Loren Norris and what he did for us. I've got 9 practicum students who are going through a pastoral practicum from the King's University, and he came in and spent 2 afternoons with them teaching them about storytelling, public speaking, and to see the contrast from when they first started and after just 2 times with them, the difference that it made was night and day. So I'm so grateful that he took time to spend with them, teaching us how to get up in front of people, tell our stories, and tell them with a purpose. If I were you, I would have Loren Norris help you too.